Now to those safety concerns about guardrails on the nation's roads. A new lawsuit says a common type of guardrail can potentially cause serious injury or even death in some accidents. ABC's Brian Ross is back, has that story for us.
Well, good morning again, Robin. This is a story about twisted metal, lost limbs, and painful death. An ABC News investigation into a fixture of American highways that is now at the center of a huge controversy, producing outrage from motorists across the country. Just after midnight on Interstate 40 in North Carolina, where a guardrail meant to protect almost killed.
Oh my God. I'm really dying.
The motorist hit the guardrail head-on after nodding off, and the long steel rail, seen in this photo from behind the driver and passenger seats, sliced through the SUV and then cut off his legs.
I lost my legs in a wreck.
Are you saying you've lost both your legs, sir?
Yeah.
In another case, 31-year-old Rebecca Dreyer, a single mom from Pennsylvania, lost her right leg after hitting a guardrail during a rainstorm.
I didn't realize that it essentially was a spear that came through my car.
Now she and others are suing the company that makes them, Trinity Industries of Texas, saying there's something wrong with hundreds of thousands of their guardrails across the country.
My sneaking suspicion is that this is really just the tip of the iceberg.
As seen in this test video, thanks to an ingenious design of what's called the end terminal, guardrails are supposed to be able to absorb a direct hit, even at 62 miles an hour, without turning into deadly spears. But according to the people suing Trinity, including this competitor, Josh Harmon, the company slightly changed by just an inch some of the dimensions of the end terminals, disrupting the basic physics of the device.
This failed. This is a classic failure.
These devices are designed as supposed to save your life, and they're not.
In fact, the inventor of the original guardrail terminal, Dr. Dean Sicking, a leading expert on impact, now studying football injuries, tells ABC News the changes made by Trinity were done without his knowledge.
I was not involved in that change and never really understood why they did it.
According to internal company documents obtained by ABC News, Trinity engineers calculated shaving off an inch would save about $2 for each ET, end terminal. That's $50,000 a year and $250,000 in 5 years by using the 4-inch channel, the memo reads. Trinity says its modified guardrail terminals have passed crash tests like this one and met all federal standards. But now many question whether the crash tests in ideal conditions reflect what happens in the real world. Rebecca Dreyer says she knows too well what happens in the real world and says it's now time for the Trinity guardrails to be taken off the highways.
Because how many more people do you want to lose limbs and go through all of this?
But for now, those guardrail terminals remain on the road all across the country. But federal highway officials tell ABC News today a nationwide review of the safety and performance of all guardrails is now being planned.
We see those all the time. We never stop to think.
Exactly
all
right.
Brian.
A hidden hazard.